Hi, today we're having a conversation with Officer Rondo and discussing motor safety. So Officer Rondo, what defines distracted driving?
Technical definition of distracted driving is doing anything that's not necessary to operating the motor vehicle.
So if I were eating a sandwich and driving, would I get pulled over?
You could get pulled over for eating a sandwich while you're driving.
Okay, so like if I was speeding and I got pulled over and I was eating a sandwich, they would tack on distracted driving? Or would they be like, she's following all of the motor laws, but she's eating a sandwich? Would a police officer pull me over?
You would probably get summons for both. You would probably get summons for one or the other, depending on what seems to be the biggest factor at the time of the traffic stop.
What about if you're at a red light or a stop sign and you go take a sip of your drink or you go to respond to a text? Does that count?
As far as distracted driving goes, no. But they updated the law recently that states that you can no longer text while you're sitting at any traffic signal, whether it be a red light, whether it be a stop sign. If you're grabbing your phone and you start texting, you're technically in violation of the law.
What about if you have hands-free in your car?
Hands-free operation is still legal. There's nothing wrong with talking while you're going down the road, as long as you're not having to worry about what you're looking at other than the road itself.
So if you were to be pulled over for texting and driving or texting at a stop sign, what would be the penalties or fees for that?
The first penalty for texting and driving is a $250 fine, up to 30 days of loss of license.
If I'm on my phone, like if I'm not texting, but I'm like talking on the phone, is that considered texting and driving? Could I get pulled over for being?
No, talking and texting are technically two different things. If you're talking on your phone, which you can't do when you're under the age of 18, well,
Just right.
when you become 18 years old, you can technically, by law, talk on your phone, but you still can't text regardless of your age.
So if I'm on my phone and I'm like talking on my phone, I'm speeding, and I get pulled over for speeding, would being on the phone like tack onto that, or would I get a summons for being on my phone?
No. If you're talking on your phone and you're not paying attention to what you should be doing as far as the operation of your motor vehicle, the officer, again, depending on which of the two circumstances is more obvious, he can either write you for the speeding or he can write you for distracted driving.
So how tinted could my windows be? If I decided that I wanted to put tint on my car that didn't come with tint, how tinted could my windows be?
Are you referring to how dark can your entire window be?
Yes.
You can't put any aftermarket tint on your windows whatsoever. Everything, the windows, the glass that you see in the vehicles today should be original manufacturer's tint in the glass. Anything other than original manufacturers, you actually have to get a certificate of light transmittance that you have to keep in the vehicle all the time. And that tells us that you've actually met the requirements set forth by the state as far as allowance goes on the tint itself. Now, there is a portion, I believe it's a 5-inch window or a 5-inch strip that you can actually put on the top, and you'll see a lot of vehicles on the front of the windshield. The tops of the windshields are actually tinted for purposes of keeping the sun out of your eyes. That's allowed, but to have tint in your immediate viewing area is not allowed.
How lifted can your vehicle be in the same vein?
Again, getting back to manufacturers' standards and specs, the way that the law is written is that you can't add any additional space between the body and the frame that is set over by specs of the manufacturer. Depending on the weight of your vehicle, is going to depend on how high the vehicle can actually be up off the ground. And there are 5 or 6 different classifications as far as vehicle weight that allow you to have a vehicle a certain height. Most of you guys know what I drive. It sets up off the ground quite a ways in comparison to my little HHR that my daughter uses. I have an F350, so to compare it, the height off the ground, it's considerably different. But if I was to take my truck, bring it to an aftermarket body shop, and I told them, I want you to put a 4-inch lift kit in it, they may do that, but I'm going to have a problem when I go to try to get my vehicle inspected. So technically, it's an inspection violation that I would really need to be concerned about.
As far as like brake lights and turning signals, things like that, are those allowed to be tinted? Or?
There are different vehicles out there that are, I'm noticing them as well, that they're kind of shading the brake lights, maybe shading the turn signals. But what they need to be concerned about is, as long as like taillights emit a red color and it's visible, obviously visible, it's okay. I'm not saying it's okay for you to put whatever you want for tint. I'm just saying that the brake lights itself, the stoplights, brake lights need to emit a red color. The turn signals can only emit an amber color. So as long as you're, if somebody has an accident, a minor accident, and they pop a hole in their, the size of $50 or something in their tail light, as long as they're using, and they don't have the money to get it fixed, as long as they're using some sort of white light blocking tape and the rest of the light is red, you're going to be okay. But taillights, stoplights, they need to be red color. Turn signals need to be amber color.
What colors are acceptable for underbody neon lights?
What colors? I don't know that there is a color neon light you can put on. In fact, I'm very sure they're not supposed to be having neon lights, period. There are a lot of guys that ride around with little colors on their wheel wells and stuff like that, but they're getting away with it because they're not neon. There are only certain lights, certain parts of the vehicle that are actually allowed to run lights. And they need to be, as we discussed earlier, the red lights, the amber lights, and the white lights need to be up front. You can't have any white lights in the back, you can't have any white lights on the sides. Neon lights are out entirely. As far as there actually being a law for colored lights, I don't think there is, with the exception of making sure that you're not trying to imply that you have some sort of an emergency vehicle with those colored lights.
If somebody was driving a Jeep and they took the doors off the Jeep, would they get in trouble for not having the side mirrors or for any like safety problems with driving with the doors off the Jeep?
No, I looked that up for a staff member here, and the only thing that I'm actually able to find is that you have to have a mirror that shows you a clear view, and it's able to show you a clear view of up to 200 feet. So to me, that doesn't mean anything about when you have a Jeep, the doors come off in the summertime, and that's why people buy these Jeeps, buy these vehicles. Your car, if you took the doors off, probably wouldn't fly as well, but Jeeps are designed to take the doors off. They run safely, mechanically, safely with their doors off. There's nothing that's actually written in print that says that you have to have a side mirror.
Now, when it comes to winter and snow and things like that in the car, how would an officer go about someone with a frozen windshield or rear window or a foggy one?
No, I'm not much of a traffic guy, but when I'm assigned back to patrol, you guys went on vacation or something, that's something that I'm real stickled with, because there's no difference between what you just described. Some people will take the time to only clear out a hole this big. Literally, it's really funny to see
Watch people in their vehicle driving up. Because they've only got this little hole in their windshield and it's covered in snow.
or it's frost, or just fog in the interior portion of the vehicle is frozen. It's leaking cold, you can't take the time to clean up the windshield and the rear of the warm up. It's a violation. It's obstructed view. if it's me, if you're going by me, and you haven't got the amount of your vehicle cleared up, you should, that's necessary for you to safely operate your vehicle.
Would you get a summons for
Absolutely.
that? How much would it be?
So that's what this question
Sorry.
is about.
You can have tickets for this all the
I'm
time.
not
You're a
a,
stickler.
I am not a state law vehicle whiz. They, we actually have a book.
Okay.
On a serious note, there's actually a book that explains the fines and penalties, and there are hundreds of different. So I would have to, that's why I would have these books. That's what this is.
Does the same go for rear, like, windshields? If your rear windshield is iced or frosted or foggy, could you get pulled over for the same thing even if you can see clearly out of the front, out of your mirrors?
It doesn't take long for you to clear your vehicle off. I don't know why everybody can't take the time to clean their vehicle off. I mean, it's just good common sense.
Do you have to have your headlights on at the same time as your windshield wipers?
Yes. Your windshield wipers are in operation, your headlights need to be on. Stay with me.
Well, thank you very much, Officer Rondo. I appreciate the conversation that we had.
We
And,
appreciate
we
the
should-
conversation.
And that concludes our conversation for today.